tried to film this yesterday, but I still haven't fully recovered, despite giving myself like 2 whole recovery days of doing nothing. And also the neighbors are annoying as, I don't even think I can say the word I want to say without getting demonetized. It is the Wednesday after Zenkaikon, and I'm still so tired. I mean this in a good way, of course. I had been looking forward to this event since like October, and it finally came around this weekend, and it absolutely lived up to my expectations. I had a great time, but it was so much in 2 days that it's just taking longer for me to socially recover than it would with other events. And much like other events I've covered on this channel, which are very few, I didn't take any footage. I always go into these kinds of things with vlogging in the back of my mind because I always think that people on the internet will find it interesting like I do. But then I go and I'm so distracted by all the cool stuff that's happening that I don't take out my phone, and I just have nothing but my memory to rely on. You're also not allowed to bring certain filming equipment like tripods and stuff unless you have a content creator pass, which I obviously do not qualify for. So this is more so just going to be a talkie video. I don't like making talkie videos, as I've said before, but it's really all I have to work with, so I'm sorry. There will be more involved stuff next time, I promise. Day 1, I was like a boundless ball of energy for the entire morning. I couldn't leave right away because I did have a class that I had to get through first. But once I was done, I basically ran back to my room to eat a snack and get ready. I also had pre-packed my con bag so I could just grab it and run out the door to the parking lot. Speaking of, what do we put in my con bag? Let's find out. Wallet, portable charger, car keys because I'm driving today, paper masks, I'm still not over whatever sickness I got this week, and just in case, fidget. That day I was Laudna, and a friend from school went as my Imogen, and it was very fun. But on the way to the parking lot, I was like stared at by so many people because I didn't know if it was weirder to carry the wig or to have it on my head, so I just put it on and like ran huddled up in my coat, hoping that nobody would see me and people saw me. The drive from my school down to Lancaster was easy. The convention center was small but not cramped. I felt like there was ample space to walk around and sit down if needed. Lines weren't long for anything. We spent a good chunk of the day in the dealer's hall and didn't really go to any panels because there just wasn't a lot happening Friday, I feel like. And the stuff that was happening was later in the night, and we were not staying that late into the night. I lost count of how many times we were stopped that day for photos and compliments and things like that. We even got stopped by the con social media team. They never ended up posting us anywhere, but someone in the Zenkaikon shirt in like full fairy tale cosplay other than their staff badge just snuck up behind us and was like, "Hey, y'all look cool." And it caught me so off guard, but I'm glad that it was a hit. It was a little hard to walk around in because the netting on my skirt got caught on my bag, and I also had a belt bag that was crocheted, so that also got caught on everything. Storage and moving around was a little bit hard, but it was worth it because people seemed to like it. Still, by like 7 p.m. we were like, there's nothing happening and we're gonna have to drive an hour tomorrow, so we just up and left. I heard the evening stuff like the ball and the rave were fun though, so maybe next year. Many more things occurred on day 2 than day 1. I debuted my Yasha cosplay in public for the first time. I was definitely not as recognizable as Laudna was the day before, but people still liked it when I was recognized. The Critical Role cosplay meetup was first thing in the morning, pretty much, so there weren't a lot of people there, but the people that were there were so sweet. Took some fun photos together. There were 3 Yashas, each from a different point in the campaign. So the running joke has been, oops, all Yasha. Everybody was very sweet. I freaking love this community. Went and got farmers market donuts at lunch because that's what you do when in Lancaster.
In the afternoon, we attended Super Art Fight, which is a live show where a bunch of artists battle it out on a large whiteboard and try to attack each other's drawings with more drawings. So by the end of it, you have this colorful, crazy board that's filled with a bunch of different things, and the artists themselves dress up into characters the way pro wrestlers would. Somebody even brought out a steel chair to attack. It was very highly enjoyable. We didn't stay for the whole thing, but what we did see was so fun. About midway through this panel, however, I get a text from my roommate saying, "There's a situation going on in Lancaster. Are you guys okay?" And I haven't heard anything other than the fact that the Holiday Inn, where some of the programming was, had been evacuated for whatever reason. So I was like, yeah, what's going on? There was a bomb threat. 2 bomb threats, actually. The long and short of it is that somebody threatened to hurt people at the drag story hour that was happening at the library at the same time as the convention. And because we happened to fall within 2 blocks, they taped off a good part of the route where con goers were walking through. Thankfully, the convention itself was safe. Staffers and local law enforcement handled it very, very well. Nobody was hurt. Everybody was gathered into the convention center who was in the Holiday Inn. Ironically enough, there was a Free Palestine protest earlier that morning, so I just figured, oh, the protesters moved and are doing some civil disobedience, so that's why things are happening. And no, it was the complete opposite of what I had expected. When we went out for more food later in the day, it was still taped off, and it was until I'd say about 4:30. On the way there was an evangelical protester with a microphone who started just an annoying, and then as more cosplayers and people in costume ran by, he just kept getting louder and louder. As I was walking away from him, he pointed directly at me and shouted, "God didn't make you a lesbian!" And I could not help but laugh because that I don't know, it didn't really hurt me. It just kind of threw me off, so I just laughed and walked away. God, hateful people are so stupid, and I wish that all that nonsense didn't have to go down, but everything was handled in a very safe manner, and I'm very grateful that it wasn't turned into something bigger. We capped the evening off with the masquerade and the hall cosplay judging. I was so wowed by everybody who took place in that performance. There were so many acts that, like, too many to name, that I really loved watching, and I was very inspired by the people in the craftsmanship portion of the contest to hopefully compete myself in the future. All I'm gonna say is that I have plans that I cannot fully disclose because they aren't 100% solid yet. Day 3, I woke up with extreme nausea. So I didn't go to the convention, I just laid in bed and recovered. We ate at Decades the night before, which is a barcade. I didn't have any alcohol and only ordered like basic fish and chips, so I have no idea what it was that upset my stomach, but I'm glad that I stayed in and slept it off because there was no way in hell I was throwing up all over my Vanessa FNAF shirt. Overall, it was very enjoyable. Jam-packed with lots of fun things that I might have forgotten to mention. Something will probably come to me in the middle of recording this that I'll throw in at the last minute when I'm editing, who knows. So, on lieu of proper convention footage, I have something not better, but equally as entertaining to show you, and that is the merchandise hall. Goodies! I may have gone a little overboard, but it's fine. It's fine. I will easily get that money back. First things first are these felt pins that I got to put on my badge. These were made by Tomboy Togs, who often vendors at the Ren Fair. I've never seen her at the Ren Fair, so it was nice that she had her own dedicated booth for me to buy things at, finally. I don't know if I'm going to keep this one, because I know a lot of people who would like to have this. but this one is absolutely staying on here. A whole bunch of stickers. Some I've already found a place for, as you can see, and some I have not. This Rowlet is by Aquabun. This Lose is a gift from a mutual. The Snorlax I got in a package of a Japanese candy bar. So that was technically a free one. And I forget the artist of this Pride Worm, but it was so cute and it was the only one left, so of course we had to pick that up. Speaking of Pride things, these dice from Eris Gaming. Pretty much every Dungeons & Dragons character I've played is either a lesbian or sapphic in some way, so it was high time that I got me some dice to represent that. I can't wait to find an excuse to roll this. I also shopped at Cotton Book and got a present for one of my friends who I am pretty sure watches these videos, so I will not be showing that. I don't even know what's in it because it is a mystery set. So it'll be a surprise for both of us when we finally meet up again. And the most important purchase of all, him! There was a vendor selling various plushies from different media, including Pokemon, and I was distracted and like looking the other way when my friend who I was with just tapped me on the shoulder and went, "Meg, look." And here he was, sitting in the front row, basically begging for me to buy him. He makes me so happy. This is like the best $40 I've ever spent. I also can't show this one in the video, but there is a Kate May print up on my wall. It's so pretty. I had been eyeing up this piece of art for ages, and when I heard that she was tabling, I basically ran over there to buy it. Overall, I'm just so happy that I got to do this event, and I can't wait until the next one that I attend. And I most likely won't have to wait a whole year for Zenkai 25. Right now, I'm in the process of making arrangements for Colossal Con East, and also several other conventions were tabling at the con, including some that were about the same driving distance away from my place as Lancaster is. I've basically been looking at the mini posters and the coupons they handed out as I'm doing my schoolwork, and I have to physically restrain myself from going onto their website and impulse buying them because I don't have the money or time. But yeah, sadly, not much to show or talk about in this little convention vlog, but the next time, I promise there will be more, and I'm very excited for whichever event ends up being next. I really need water, so I'm gonna stop talking now and take a drink. Like, subscribe, do whatever you feel so inclined, and I'll see you with definitely another craft video the next time I upload. Adios.